This past Saturday, I went to the Three Gun Nation Championships here in Tulsa, and since I'm a Tulsa local, it was pretty easy for me just to drive up to the north side and visit the U.S. Shooting Sports Academy, and I was blown away by how much fun this was. It was like a combination of the state fair, a sporting event, and a trip to the gun range. It was all that stuff kind of rolled in together, and it was really fun to watch the competitors. And I got to see Jerry Michalek. I didn't get to see him shoot, but I saw him walking around. And I got to see some of the other competitors just tearing it up. These guys, they shoot so fast. I've never seen anything like it in real life. But what was really fun were the public events. This is what I really liked. They had a miniature 3-gun event where just walk-ups. You pay $5 for your first ticket, $2 for anything thereafter. But I ran this thing 3 times, and it was a pretty simple event, just a little linear thing where they had a pistol, and then they had a shotgun and an AR. And eventually I got my time down to 25 seconds and 3 misses by the last time I did it. Really, really fun. It's kind of neat to get your heart rate up, and even though the targets themselves weren't all that difficult, it's just that pressure of getting things done quickly. They had another event right next to it, and they called it the Death Star. It was kind of like the Texas spinning star. You shoot the plates off the ends, and it's spinning around like mad. Well, this one was on an arm, so it was really difficult to shoot. I ended up taking this one, I think in about 6 seconds, cleaned it. Okay, actually it kind of cleaned itself. You can see that 2 or 3 of these plates just kind of flew off on their own, but it was still really fun. I also got to shoot a 50 BMG for the first time. This was a Bushmaster BA-50, and yeah, that was kind of expensive, you know, $5 for a single shot, but I just never shot anything that large before, so I had to do it sometime. I was actually kind of surprised on that rifle. It seemed like it was very accurate, you know, it was very well built, but the reviewer in me was, you know, trying to check things out. Really, that trigger is one of the worst that I've ever felt. I was really expecting it not to be a light trigger, of course, because you have to take a 50 BMG seriously, but it was really, really spongy, a lot of take-up, it was just kind of crunchy. It felt a lot like my Mosin trigger. It was terrible. But anyway, that was a really fun experience. Next to that, there was a booth that had a Surgeon Scalpel. And if you're not familiar with Surgeon rifles, the Scalpel is just amazing. It's really my top bolt rifle. If I could have any bolt-action rifle, I'd have a Surgeon Scalpel, or maybe the Surgeon Remedy in 338 Lapua Magnum. That stuff, I've gotten to shoot Surgeons before. There's a guy at my range, he's a competitor on Team Surgeon, and I've gotten to shoot his 260 Remington a few times, and that is an amazing rifle. But this one was chambered for 308 Winchester, and it was they had a silencer on it. It was using the Accuracy International AICS stock. It had a Leopold Mark 8 on top. I believe it was a Mark 8, and it was just, you know, a simple just kind of full-size silhouette steel target at 300 yards. But what made this extra fun is they were using subsonic loads. So, fire, and you just kind of get this little mouse fart sound, and then, dink, 3 seconds later. Really fun. And so that was really fun to shoot. Right next to that, they had an Armalite AR-10, and I'd never shot an AR-10 before, any kind of 308 semi-automatic rifle. It was really smooth shooting. It really felt, especially with the silencer on the end, it felt like just a 5.56 rifle that was unsuppressed. Very, very, it had a fine trigger. There wasn't much recoil. Felt great. So that was a lot of fun. They also had some stuff where you could try out a Ruger 2245, and they had a 1022 for folks that were interested in Rugers. And they had a booth called Girl with a Gun, and I guess women could come up and kind of get their first taste of shooting. They didn't have to pay anything, and they could try out a few different models of weapons there. And that was pretty rad. Now, some of the booths that they also had some just kind of product vendors there. They were showing off Timney triggers, and those were really nice, but what blew me away, they're these ones that are being made here in Broken Arrow, here in the Tulsa region. They're called Rise triggers. I'd never heard of these guys before, but this is the sweetest single action, or excuse me, not single action, but single stage triggers that I've ever felt. It had no creep, the over travel was minuscule, and it broke at about 3.5 pounds. I didn't have a scale to actually test that, but it was so light. It's the only single stage trigger that I've ever tried for an AR that actually would take out varminting. I like it better than my 2-stage now. Really, really nice. So yeah, I had a really good time, and I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of this thing. Just because I had so much fun, and I think a lot of other people did too. So thanks to 3Gun Nation, the U.S. Shooting Sports Academy. Thanks to Remington for bringing a lot of the firearms that we got to try at these different events. Like in the little 3-gun thing that I ran, we got to shoot the Remington R1 and the 1187. Armalite brought the AR-15 that we shot at that event. They also brought the AR-10 I shot on that 300-yard line. Strategic Armory Corps, who is kind of the parent company for a bunch of these folks like Armalite, Surgeon. They had the Surgeon rifles out there. They had Nexus Ammo, AWC silencers. They were showing off their whole product line, really. Thanks also to Ruger. Freedom Munitions seemed to be providing a bunch of ammo that we were shooting. MGM targets, I believe, were the ones that we were shooting in that little 3-gun event for the public. And Leopold. It was nice to be able to look through some of the really high-end Leopold glass. I've taken a look through some of the big stuff before, like Schmidt and Bender, and some of the other kind of high-dollar optics, but I'd never seen the comparable Leopolds. So that was kind of neat. If you have a chance to check out one of these events, I recommend that you do so. I don't know how this works, if they're going to be having the championships back here in Tulsa, if they kind of float around between cities. I really don't know how this works. And I also don't know what kind of amenities they have at more of their regional matches rather than championships like this one. But if you can check it out, I recommend that you do. Just this little taste of getting to run this simple little course, I can see how this would be really addicting. I would love to be able to compete in 3-gun, even if it's just on a kind of a local stage. And they do have matches out at the U.S. Shooting Sports Academy. Yeah, really, really fun. And I talked to some of the competitors. They said that, just bring what you have, as long as you have a shotgun. It can be a pump. Bring your sidearm. One of the guys was saying that he got started just using his concealed carry pistol. I can really see how it would be addicting.